Hi friends, and today we would do another topic which is averages. Averages is again a very important topic. You would find around one or two questions in a CSAT exam, and there can be many questions in other exams like Bank PO or RBI or something like that. So this is an important topic. What we would cover in this topic would be some basic concepts and few important cases, right? So there are few important cases which are being asked in exam, so we'll cover that. Without wasting time, let's go to our first agenda, which is basic concepts. So the good thing about this topic is we only have one basic concept, right, which is averages is equal to sum of all the observation divided by total number of observation. So this is one formula which we would use everywhere. Seemingly a very easy topic, but things can be very complex as far as this topic is concerned, right? So let's stick to firstly this formula and understand how to use this formula, right? So for example, a question says Mohan earns following income. On day 1 he earns 56 rupees, on day 2 48, day 3 32, and finally 64. What is the average income of 4 days? So we'll just copy this formula here, and we'll say ki average is equal to sum of all the observations. So sum of all the observations is equal to what? It's 56 plus 48 plus 32 plus 64, right? So this is sum of all the observations, which is equal to 200, right? And how many observations are there? There are 4 observations. So average would be what? Average would be 200 by 4, which is equal to 50. So on an average he earns 50 rupees each day, right? So what do we mean by average? On an average, what do we mean by the sentence that on an average he earns 50 rupees each day? This means that if we say that he earns 50 rupees every day, so 50 50 50 50, then he would earn total of 200 in all those 4 days. And now he is earning different incomes every day, but the total of these is 200 as well, right? So on an average he is earning 50 each day, which means if his income is not variable but is fixed on a certain number, what should that number be? That number should be average of what he is earning on all these 4 days, right? So this is what we mean by average, right? Now you see that there are few calculations involved, right? So sum of observation is calculation, and then we divide it by 4, right? Just see, can we write it as 56 plus 48 plus 32 plus 64, right? Can this be written as 48 plus 48 plus 48 plus 48, right? The 56 is broken into 48 plus 8, right? We can do that. This 48 is as it is. 32 is written as 48 minus 16, right? And finally 64 is written as 48 plus 16, right? Can we do it? Let's rearrange it. Can we write it as 4 times 48 plus 8 minus 16 plus 16? Can we do that? Yes, definitely we can do that. Now to find the average, we have to divide this sum by 4, right? When we divide this by 4, what do we get? We get 48. Now this 16, this minus 16, and this plus 16 got cancelled, right? So we get 48 into 4 divided by 4 plus 8 divided by 4, right? Which means it becomes 48 plus 2, right, which is 50. Again our average which we found earlier. So this is a easy way out, right? This is to ease out our calculations, right? We just see that where the average should lie, and we assume that, let's say, that's the average, right? So we can see from the question that here the average would lie somewhere near 48, right? So we try to make 48 out of all these. So to make 48 out of 56, we would write it as 48 plus 8. Similarly for 32, we'll write it as 48 minus 16, and for 64 we'll write it as 48 plus 16, and these 16 and this 16 would get cancelled, and our calculations become very easy. So this is an easy way out to calculate the average. Now let's tweak it a little bit, and let's say that question says Mohan earns rupees 40 per day for 14 days and 50 per day for rest 16 days. So what is his monthly income, average monthly income? So it means we have 40 entries, we have 14 entries for 40 40 40, right? So these are 14 entries. Similarly we have 16 entries for 50 50 50. These are how many entries? These are 16 entries. So sum of all the observations would be 40 into 14 plus 50 into 16, right? And total number of observations are how many? They are 30. So we have to divide it by 30, right? And we'll find the average, right? Whatever be the average, whatever is the average, we'll write that as answer, right? So this means that each day he is earning 40. So total we have 14 observations of 40. Similarly we have 16 observations of 50, right? So this is how we do it. Now we can also simplify this calculation, right? Let's say the average is 40 only. So can we write 40 into 14 plus 40 into 16 plus 10 into 16, right? Can we write this as this? Yes, we definitely can. And this whole divided by 30, right? We can further simplify this as what? We can take 40 common out of these two, right? Out of these two we can take 40 common. So it becomes 40 multiplied by 30 divided by 30 plus 16 multiplied by 10 divided by 30, right? So this is what we get, right? Which is equal to 40 plus 16 by 3, right? Which is approximately equal to 5.33. So it becomes 45.333, right? So this would be the average income. We just try to cut the calculations and make it as simple as possible, right? So this is how we do it. Now if we just change this question a little bit, and we say that Mohan's average earning for first 14 days is 40 and it is 50 for rest 16 days. What is his average monthly income? So the question almost remains the same. Here we don't know that what Mohan is earning each day, but we know that on an average he is earning rupees 40. This means that unlike the previous case, he might be earning 41 on first day, he might be earning 39 on second day, he might be earning 38 on third day, 42 on fourth day, 45 on fifth day, 50 on sixth day, 35 on second day, and so on and so forth. But when we average these 14 quantities, we'll get 40, right? So we can assume that he earns 40 each day, right? As we discussed in our question 1, right? That on average means that we can replace that number with the different entities which are variable, right? So we can say that on each day he is earning 40. Similarly on rest of the 16 days he is earning 50. So the question is similar to the previous one and you have to solve it similarly, right? So this is basic concept of average. Now this is an exercise for you. Let's do it. I'll give you around 2 minutes to do it. So you have 2 minutes. Try to solve it in as minimum steps as possible. So let's do it. It says that section A's average score is 25, section B's average score is 28. A has 20 students, B has 30. What is the average of whole class, right? So average of whole class would be sum of observations, which is 25 into 20 plus 28 into 30. This is sum of observations divided by the total observations. So total observations are 50, right? So this is the sum. Now can we simplify the calculations? Yes, we can say that average is 25, right? So what section B is contributing is 28, which means 3 more than the average, right? So each student of section B is contributing 3 more than the average. And how many students are there? There are 30 students more, right? So they would contribute 90 marks more, which would be finally divided into 50 students to find the average. So it would be 1.4 marks higher. And we assume that average was 25. Now this would be added to that 25, right, to make our average as 26.4, right? This is how we do the basic questions of average, right? Just do not start calculating it. Just assume that 25, or we can even take 28 as average, right? So if we take 28 as average, we can see that this is 3 less than 28, which means this is contributing minus 3 into 20, right? Which means 60 minus 60 again, which would be averaged over 50 students, right? So this would be 1.2. So in that case our average would minus 1.2 rather, right? So in that case our average would become 28 minus 1.2, right? So it would be, in this case it would be 1.4. It would not be 1.4, it would be 1.8, right? So it becomes 26.8, right? So here it would be 28 minus 1.2, which is again equal to 26.8. So from both the methods we are getting the same average. So you can use whatever is convenient for you. You can assume that 28 is the average, and then this is contributing how much less than the average? It is contributing minus 3 less than the average. And how many entities are there? There are 20 entities, right? But we have to average it out over 50 students because we are finding the average of the whole class. So this means on an average it is contributing minus 1.2 less, or in earlier case this 28 is contributing 90 divided by 50, which is 1.8 more for overall all these 50 kids, right? So this is how we do the questions. Now there is another concept, which is the weighted average. It means the formula remains the same. It is sum of the product. So let's do first one question and then go to the formula. It says in class 10 board exams, weightage of maths is twice than any of the other subject. If student scores following marks in various subjects, what is his average score? Now he has 5 subjects: English, mathematics, science, social science and Hindi, right? Weight of maths is twice the other subjects, which means if other subjects are given 1 weight, maths would be given twice the weight. So we have to find the average. Now maths is twice as important as any other subject, which means score given in maths is multiplied by 2, whereas score in all other subjects are added as it is because the weight is 1, right? So total would be done like this. And number of observations would be sum of the weights, right? So English, science, social science, Hindi gives 1 1 1 1 as weight, but maths would give 2 as weight. So we'll add 2 for maths and 1 1 1 for rest. So this would be the weighted average of our entire class, right? You can again simplify the calculations by using the method which we discussed above, right? Try to simplify the calculations as much as possible by using the method above, right? So this is basic concept of weighted average. Weighted average is not that much important as far as our exam is concerned, but it's always good to know the concept of weighted average because it might be asked in our exam, right? So now let's go to few cases, important cases, which are almost always there in any of the exam. So first case is when we have given an average of a particular group and a person or a group of person joins that group, right? So it says the average of 40 students is 15 years. If teacher joins in, the average weight of the class increase by 0.75. What is the weight of teacher? Just try. I know that it might be difficult for you to find the solution, but it's never bad to try out. So just try out 1 to 2 minutes for this and then we'll discuss. So let's do it. So average age of 40 students is 15 years, right? If teachers join in, the average age, here there is a typo, increases by 0.75. So he is asking what is the age of the teacher. Question is pretty simple. Now we know that average is equal to sum of observation divided by number of observations. So we can find the sum of ages of all the children, which would be equal to 40 multiplied by 15, right? So this would be sum of ages of all the children. Now sum of ages of children and teacher together, what would it be? It would be, now when teacher is added, the total number of observation becomes 41, average is 15.75, right? So this would be it, which is equal to 645, sorry, which is equal to 645.45. Now what is the age of teacher? So here it's age of children, here it's age of sum of age of children and teacher. Now if we subtract this, we'll get age of the teacher, which would come out to be, so it's I think 75, which comes out to be 45.75 years. So this is the age of the teacher. Quite straightforward. But is it the best method to do this question? Perhaps not, right? Because you have to calculate here, right? This calculation is pretty straightforward, but this is not, right? You have to just try and write the multiplication and come out at this figure. And if once you try and come out at this figure, the calculation becomes easy. So can there be any other way out? Perhaps there is, right? Let's see what is the other way out. So now he says that average age of 40 students is 15. So we can assume that there are 40 students who are aged 15. So each one is 15, 15, 15 and so on, right? These are the ages of students. Now when teacher is added, the new average becomes 15.75, right? So each entry is now having 15.75 as their age. And we have 41 such entries, right? And so on. We have 41 such entries. Now what is the difference between each entry? Difference between each entry is 0.75, right? So difference is 0.75. So this 0.75 would have been contributed by the new entry, right? So this 0.75 must have been contributed to all these 40 entries by the new entry, right? So the new entry contributes 0.7 times into 40, plus is also it also contributed its own observation, right? So we have 41 observations. There was a difference of 0.75 in 40, but the 41st observation is entirely new, right? So this is the contribution of 41st observation, which means 15.75 plus 0.75 into 40, right? Which again comes out to be 45.75. So this is how we made it easy, right? So we can also see it from here, right? What we have done is we have just done 41. We have written 41 as 40 multiplied by 15.75, right, plus 15.75. This thing we have written it as this, right? Now from this we have to subtract the ages of the children, which is 40 into 15, and it comes out to be this thing. So it becomes, so we take 40 common from this, and it becomes 40 into 0.75 plus 15.75. so this is how we decrease the load of our calculations, right? Similarly, there can be a question where it says that the average age of 40 students is 15. If a student leaves, let's do this question. If a student leaves, the average age decreases by 0.5 years, right? Now we have to find the average age of the student who left the class, right? Again, use this logic which we have just studied and try to solve it. You have 2 minutes to do this. So let's try and do it. Now in first case there are 40 students and their average age is 15. So sum of the ages 40 students is equal to what? 40 multiplied by 15, right? Let's leave it here, we won't calculate it. So when the one student left, there are 39 students which are left behind. So sum of their ages 39 students is equal to 39, and the average decreased by 15, which means average becomes 14.5. Now what is the age of this student who left? So we just take a difference of these two, minus 39 into 14.5. So can we write this as 39 multiplied by 15 plus 15 minus 39 multiplied by 14.5? Can we write it like this? Yes, we can. So from this and this we take 39 common, which means it becomes 39 into 0.5 plus 15, right? Whatever the answer is, so that would be our answer, right? So what now we are doing is we are making calculation faster, right? So if we just think it as that each of the 40 students has on an average 15 pieces, or 15, let's say 15 apples or whatever, or 15 rupees. Murnal says that it has 15 rupees, right? This doesn't mean that each student has 15, but on an average each one has 15, so we can assume that each one has 15. Now when one of them leave, it becomes 14.5, right? 14.5 with each. This means there is a differential of 0.5. So that 0.5 here was contributed by somebody who has left, right? So when he left, there are 39 entities which are left, right? So 39 entities which are left, and he contributed 0.5 for all these 39 entities, right? So for all these 39 entities he contributed what? He contributed 0.5, and his 15 is totally vanished, so he further contributed this 15 to his entry of these 40 entries. He contributed 15 to that. So our average becomes 39 into 0. So our age becomes 39 into 0.5 plus 15. So that would be our answer. So seemingly easy question. Yes, it is easy. It can be done by anybody, but the best we have to do it in minimum possible time and in the best way possible. So using the same concept, let's do this question, which says the average wages of 15 workers is 4,500 per month. If 3 workers leave, the average of the remaining drops by 175. Now we have to find the total wages of the worker who left, right? Just take 2 minutes and try to solve it using the logic above. So let's do it. The easiest way out is just write the totals. So in first case the average wage is 4500 for 15 workers. So this is it. In second case average is reduced by 175, so it becomes what? It would become 4500 minus 175, which is equal to 4325, right? And number of workers remains 12 and it becomes 4325. Now we have to find the total wages of the workers who left out, which would be what? This is the wages of 45 workers, this is wages of 12 workers which are left. So the difference of these two would be wages of the workers who left, all the 3 workers who left, so which is minus 12 into 4325. Just break this 15 into 12 into 4500 plus 3 into 4500, right? Now we know that the difference is 175, so we can just replace this as 12 into 175 and this is 3 into 4500, and just calculate and find the total wages of the workers left. So even if you don't understand that how much each is contributing and all that concept which we discussed in the previous questions, so just write the total wages and try to minimize the calculations as we did in this case, right? So try to minimize the calculations as far as possible, right? Let's go to next question, which is a question of replacement. In previous 3 questions we just saw that either a person was added, a new person was added, or a person left, or a group of person leave the particular group for which we were finding the average. Now in this, the person is replaced by some another person. Almost similar question, you can use the similar concepts to do it, but there would be slight change which we would see when we would be doing the solution. So again 2 minutes, try it yourself and then we'll do it together. So let's try and do it. It says that a man weighing 80 kgs is replaced by another man in a group of 5 and the average decreases by 3 kgs. What is the weight of new man. So average is decreasing, which means the new man which is coming should be definitely less than 80. So just check if there are options, just check out all those options which are greater than 80 kgs to begin with. Now let's see how to solve it. It says that average weight is decreased by 3 kgs. So if the average was A, let's do it in a long way, then we'll see the mental trick. So average was A, total weight would be 5A. Now if 80 kg man left and a new man, let's say with a weight N, enters, the new average would become this divided by 5, which is 3 less than the existing average, right? Now if it can be written as A minus 16 plus N by 5, right, which is equal to A minus 3, right? A and A will get cancelled and we would be getting N by 5 is equal to 13, right? It would be 13. So 16 minus 3, it would be 13, or N is equal to 13 5s, it would be 65. So this is the age of new man, which is 15 less than the previous one. Now let's see the mental trick, right? Now this 80 kg man is contributing higher than rest of the groups, right? Rest of the 4 people in the group. How much he is contributing higher? He is contributing 3 kgs higher for each one. So let's say each person, the average was A, so we can say that each person had AA weight, right? There are 5 persons with AA weight. Can we say that? Yes, we definitely can. So there were 5 persons with AA weight. Now the new average is A minus 3, right? 5 persons with A minus 3 weight, which means this 3 is decreased from the average. From all these 5 men, this A3 has been decreased. So what is the decrease? Total decrease? It would be minus 3 plus minus 3 plus minus 3, 5 times. It would be 15 decrease. 15 decrease happens because just one man left. So this means he is taking that 15 extra with him of the total thing, right? Of the total 5 A's, he is taking that 15 extra. He is taking A plus he is taking that 15 extra, right? So which means that he is taking A plus 15 with him, and which is equal to 80, which means A is equal to 65. I hope that you got the mental trick. I'll again repeat it. So when there are, the average is A, right? It means we have 5 people with A weight. Now the average becomes A minus 3, which means each person would have A minus 3 weight. So what is the difference in each observation? 3, right? So by leaving, when one man left and another one joined in, so this means he is taking A out of it plus some 3 out of all these, right? So he is taking 3 out of this, 3 out of this, 3 out of this, 3 out of this, and A out of this, plus he is adding A minus 3 back to this, right? So total he is taking A plus 15 out of these total things, right? And A plus 15 is given to be 80, and hence A is given to be, and hence A will be 65. So this is the mental trick which we are using here, and which makes the question easy. Even if you don't remember the mental trick, or it seems that you would not be able to understand it, just stick to this. This would make question easy, right? Try to minimize the question using as far as possible, but you can write the equations and solve it without going into mental tricks. But if you can understand the mental tricks, it would be all the more better. Now let's go to the last question, which says the average weight of ABC is 48, average weight of BCD is 52. What is, if A's weight is 48, what is D's weight? So it's very simple. Let's do it. Average weight of ABC is 48, which means sum of ABC's weight is 48 multiplied by 3. Sum of BCD's weight would be 52 multiplied by 3. If we subtract this, what do we get? We would get D minus A, weight of D minus weight of A, which is coming out to be 9, right? It would be, I'll just write it, 3 multiplied by 52 minus 48, right, which comes out to be 9. Now this is D minus A. We know A is 48, so D would be 48 plus 9, which becomes 57. So that's how we do these kind of questions, and with this we'll end our session. So before ending our session, I'll ask you to just give me 1 minute. Just open your clock of the window of your Windows and just watch this second hand for 1 minute. This would help you increase your attention. Just give your 100% attention to this second hand for 1 minute. So we'll do it together, and we start now. So that's it. You must have noticed that this 1 minute has become very long for you. It became very long for me as well. But this is a very good meditation and concentration technique to just watch that second hand of a clock, right? This would help you increase your concentration, and in the beginning you would see it's very difficult to focus on that second hand even for as small as 10 seconds, because our mind is too wavering. But to study and to concentrate on something like UPSC, we have to stabilize our mind, and this is one of the techniques with which we can stabilize our mind. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you and all the best.